Jussie Smollett is one of the kindest, most gentle human beings I know. I'm praying for his quick recovery. This was an attempted modern-day lynching. No one should have to fear for their life because of their sexuality or color of their skin. We must confront this hate. Signed, Kamala Harris. This was Kamala Harris in the wake of the reports of Jussie Smollett's victimization at the hands of some vicious Trumpsters. These are MAGA people who supposedly confronted Smollett. Well, you know that the whole story is now unwound. We know that the perpetrator of the hate crime has been caught. His name, as it turns out, is Jussie Smollett. And of course, Kamala Harris wasn't alone. Biden, there were so many others. Cory Booker, who expressed their public sympathy for Smollett, obviously automatically accepted his story. And I'm contrasting all those sickeningly false claims with what the judge said in sentencing Smollett yesterday. And I love the fact that the judge sort of didn't hold back. He was very candid and he didn't mince words. Let me give you a few of his quotes. He's speaking directly to Jussie. You've turned your life upside down by your misconduct and shenanigans. You've destroyed your life as you knew it. There's nothing any sentencing judge could do to you that could compare to the damage you've done to yourself. Now, while I agree with this, I will say that this is a little bit of an understatement here because what Jussie Smollett did was a hate crime. That's the one thing the judge didn't say. That when you falsely accuse a racial group of doing something to you that they didn't do, you're trying to falsely pin the blame on them. That's a hate crime, and it's a hate crime directly based upon race. But let's continue with the judge's comments to Jussie. You premeditated this crime to an extent that is amazing. So this is not something you just thought of on the spur of the moment. You recruited the two Nigerians, the so-called Osundairo brothers. You paid them. They went out and bought the noose and all the other equipment. The judge continues to Jussie, you're profoundly arrogant, selfish, and narcissistic. Absolutely true. You're not a victim of a hate crime. You're not a victim of a homophobic crime. You are a charlatan. Again, all true, but understates the matter because while Jussie isn't the victim of a hate crime, he is in fact the perpetrator of one. And then my favorite really here, the judge, your performance on the witness stand can only be described as pure perjury. In other words, Jussie was lying, and he's never stopped lying. And we'll see that even after his sentencing, he's still lying. So I think in a way, to me, the most important outcome in the Jussie Smollett case is that the truth is finally out. It's been adjudicated, and the judge, in a sense, sort of presented it with almost a kind of oracular dignity. And this sick pattern of leftist lies that began with Jussie himself, but was amplified by a dishonest media, by the way, cut from the same cloth as Jussie himself. This has finally been shut down by a no-nonsense judge. And here's the sentence, and I think I'm actually pretty happy about it. Debbie was like, this guy's going to get away with it. He's going to get absolutely nothing. Debbie always sort of takes the most pessimistic view of things, and she's often right. But in this case, the judge did in fact bring down the hammer. 30 months probation, 150 days in Cook County Jail, and you know what? Jussie was sent right to Cook County Jail. No walking out and checking in later. Go to jail right now. $25,000 fine, but in addition, $120,000 in restitution. So Jussie's going to be paying for this offense, and I'm really glad to hear about that. But as he's leaving, Jussie gives the Black Power salute, and he basically says, he starts talking about the fact that if something happens to him in jail, he didn't commit suicide. He wants people to know right now. And so Debbie's like, you know what? This guy is staging Debbie thinks he's mentally ill, but I also think he's staging his next hate crime. So the Osundairo brothers, they might have moved on to other things, but they might be getting a call anytime soon from Jussie Smollett himself.